Hello everyone, it's Friday again. Welcome back. Thanks for joining me for yet another breakfast bong. I attempted to do a taco omelette, but clearly that didn't work out. My egg ended up sticking to the bottom of the pan. So it's kind of like a taco scramble. But I think on my last video I mentioned that I was craving tacos. So I made some this week. And I originally planned on doing a taco mukbang, homemade taco mukbang. But my darling husband ate all of the tortillas. That sounded bad. He ate the one remaining tortilla last night as I made other dinner. This one is just a 2-egg omelet scramble. But before I did the eggs, I heated up my meat, which is ground beef. When I do my meat, I cook garlic and onion together, kind of let that cook and get soft and delicious, and then I add my meat into it, and then I season it. Usually I'll add salt, pepper, cumin, coriander, depending on who's eating with me. So lately my husband. No red chili powder, because he's sensitive to spice. However, this time I used the Tony Chachere's which has some spice to it, but it's not overly spicy. Just trying to get comfortable, sorry. So Tony Chachere's, and then this time I added turmeric. I've heard turmeric is really good for you, especially like anti-inflammatory. But also I read that, sorry about that, I read that if you want the anti-inflammatory benefits, excuse me, of turmeric, that it needs to be used in combination with black pepper. I don't know how true that is. So if you know, leave a note in the comments if that's correct or incorrect. So I've got the meat. I have orange bell pepper. I personally usually do green pepper. It's usually the cheaper of the groups, but the color ones do tend to be less bitter. So ground beef, orange bell pepper, diced tomato. I don't know where my napkin went. So Bronson now has 2 teeth, which is an adventure. Overall, he's a great baby. We have been, well, last night was kind of a difficult bedtime, but so tomato, bell pepper, I've started this like a bunch of times, but I've not finished it. My cooked beef, my tomato, and my bell pepper, I heated it all up before I started my eggs, because I didn't want cold beef in the middle of my omelet. And I wanted it to help melt the cheese that's also in there. And then I added black olives. Those I like cold. And then I topped her with a little bit of sour cream, so I could eat that on anything. So I think I mentioned it on my last video that it is Lent. I've been successful in not watching, well, I'll edit that, in not intentionally watching any murder shows. And I don't know if it's because it is Lent time and kind of a time that you typically give stuff up. But the other day I definitely had the realization that I'm kind of a sugar addict. In that once I start, I definitely don't want to stop. I think it was 2 days ago now. I literally had like 10 Oreos for breakfast, and that's all I ate. And being that I'm a mother now, I need to set better eating examples. So, starting on Monday, I'm going to be cutting refined sugar out of my diet again. And I say again because when I did keto, I did really good at it. And disclaimer, I'm not a dietitian, I'm not a nutritionist. This is just me living my life and, you know, figuring out what works for me. But keto, I ended up losing like I'd say a solid 40 pounds. Because I think at my very highest, or highest that I realized, I weighed in at like 210. And for me, that was a little bit daunting. But my lowest when I was on keto was like 164, and I felt good. I was never feeling like I was starving or like deprived. But why I don't say 50 pounds was because by the time I figured out, like did my research on keto and actually started it, I think I was closer to like 200, 205. Just a little bit of the fillings left. This is delicious. But I'm still on the fence if I'm going to allow myself like diet soda. Because again, when I did keto, I did really well on it, but I did have, I did dirty keto. And cutting out sugar isn't necessarily, the main intention is not to lose weight. If that's a side effect, great. But it's just kind of like having that self-realization of like, whoa, that was bad. Like to eat, well, for me, to literally eat 10 Oreos with milk for breakfast. And even like as I'm doing it, I know it's like, it's a bad choice, put them back. I don't. All right. Well, thank you for joining me and letting me ramble and babble about sugar and get sidetracked 5 times while trying to explain my breakfast. I think that that's going to be the hardest adjustment, is not having creamer in my coffee. But gotta be the example, right? Because when Bronson gets to a stage where he can talk and say he wants cookies for breakfast, I can't tell him no if I'm eating. Well, I guess I could, but I don't think it's fair to tell him no when I'm doing it myself. So anyway, as always, thanks so much for popping in. Appreciate any comments, likes, subscribes, and thank you to those of you who have already done so. So have a great day, and I will see you sometime next week. Bye!